Hi there, it's Mr. Smith, and in this video I'll be going over the syllabus. So this is our course homepage, and you can see there's a syllabus link in the blue ribbon, and that'll just take you to the syllabus. But for more, you can click on the syllabus link here. And actually, let me change to student view so you can see what it'll look like. Whoops. Guess we could start over. So notice you have the syllabus here. It also tells you what a syllabus is if you're not really all that familiar with syllabi because you're a new student. So you can read about that if you're interested. And this video should be here. Obviously, I'm taping it right now, so it's not there. So everything will be there under the syllabus link. All right, so let's go to the syllabus. So this is our first semester where we're using Concourse, and so your syllabi will be here in a different format than what you're used to if you've been here in previous semesters. So you can see this is College Algebra, Math 1314. Notice our section is 22001. That's what distinguishes us from all the other college algebra courses. Here is my contact information. Notice my name is Scott Smith. Scott's with 1T. And so my nickname's actually 1T. So you can call me 1T or you can call me Mr. Smith. Honestly, I really don't mind if you call me Scott. Some people call me Mr. Scott. I'm pretty easygoing about that. You have my email address here. My office is in J127, the J building. My phone number is 972-677-8940. And normally, if you just need to reach me about something, email's probably the best. If you want to have a conversation, then give me a call on my phone and leave a message if I don't answer, but it really depends on the time of the day. Office hours. So basically, I set these aside for students. So don't ever feel like you're interrupting me at these times. These are specifically times that are dedicated to students. And I hope you'll stop by at least once this semester. But notice, so it's Monday through Thursday, 8:15 to 9:15. Mondays and Wednesdays from 12:30 to 1, or by appointment. So I am available at other times, but we'll have to arrange those, any other meetings. There's the course information as far as our room, which is K238. Notice this is BHK. The building is actually the K building at Brookhaven. So that's what BHK means. And our class is from 11 to 12:20 Mondays and Wednesdays. So here's a course description. Tells you basically what we'll be doing this semester. A little more detail with learning outcomes here, so you can read those if you're interested in those. The Texas core objectives, you'll see those in all of our courses. These are things we want our students to gain from their years, a couple of years hopefully with us. Things like critical thinking skills, communication skills, and so on. So these are the kinds of things that people care about when you go to look for a job. Do you have some, what they call soft skills? So these are things to work on, things to improve on. Required course materials. So the nice thing about Dallas College is you signed up for this course, and as part of the Include Ed program, you're getting access to My Lab Math, which used to be called My Math Lab, so I may sometimes call it that. But it includes an online version of the textbook or digital textbook. And, like I said, it's part of tuition. Unless you opt out, which we strongly recommend, I don't see any advantage in doing that. Our cost is very good. So you can see My Lab Math is an online textbook based software where you're going to complete your assignments. You'll be doing homework and quizzes in there. So you're going to need a computer, Hopefully you have a good internet service at home because you'll spend a lot of time doing assignments on your computer. Notice you do need a TI graphing calculator. It doesn't have to be TI, but it just, there are some restrictions. So TI-84 is what I'll be using and what most students use. If you want to use something else, please check with me so I can make sure it's not so powerful that, like, when you go to take your test, if I see you using it, you would have a problem. So if you don't have a TI-84, check with me so I can let you know if your calculator is okay. I did have a couple of students that weren't able to get a calculator, and they basically checked out a calculator every time we had a course or class, and they made that work. And also we'll be doing our testing in the testing center, and they do have TI-84 calculators over there. We'll talk more about that later. In fact, I'll probably add that in here somewhere. I forgot to put that in, so you may see that added when you go back and look at the syllabus later. Graded work, you can see homework's 10%, quizzes are 10%, tests are 60% of your grade. Notice there's 4 tests. So basically, about 15% per test, and then there's a final that's comprehensive, that's 20% of your grade. So as far as homework's concerned, the nice thing about my math lab is you always get immediate feedback if you have the right answer or not. And if not, normally you have access to a solution. But I always tell students, if you want to get the most out of the homework, you should have a notebook. Should be old school a little bit. And write down the problems, the basic information, and show all your work. Just writing things out like that is going to help you to learn the material. But also when you go to take quizzes or you're getting ready for a test, like for me, I could go back to my homework. I could see some notes that I made, things that I don't want to forget, or things that I struggled with, things that I want to spend some more time with before the test. Like if your quiz is on 3 sections, you could go back and look at the basic notes for those 3 sections and then take the quiz. Ideally, when you take your quizzes, you're going to want to take them without using your notes. If you can do that, then you've learned the material. So that's the nice thing about quizzes. They kind of help you to see how you're coming along. The problem with homework is you got these help buttons, and you can get in the habit of using all the help buttons to get yourself through the homework. But the question you have to ask yourself is, do I understand what I'm doing? And is this something I could do without any kind of help buttons? So that's kind of what the quizzes help you to do, is to see if you really have learned the material. I encourage you not to use your notes, but you do have a couple of times to take the quizzes. Maybe try to do it without the notes the first time. The second time, hopefully you can study a little bit more and do better. But if you have to use your notes, just keep in mind that's an indication that you're not quite ready for the test. So notice the quizzes are timed. With the tests, normally they cover 1 or 2 chapters. You can only take a test once. Notice you will be taking those in the academic testing center outside of class. So we'll talk about that when we get to test 1. So I guess I did put a note in there about that. I forgot that I had done that. And I want you to notice, for students who average 80% or better on the homework, I will replace your lowest test score with your score on the final. The thing is, if you have a bad test, it's nice to have a way to get to overcome that. And so that's what I do to help. All right, let's look at grading. It's the typical grading scale. 90 to 100 is an A, and so on. Here's your course schedule. Now, I'll actually be printing this out and giving you a copy. It's a nice thing to have like in your notebook, wherever you're doing your homework or taking notes, because we'll follow the calendar pretty closely. Let's see. Unexpected class changes, anything comes up, I'll make an announcement in class, and then I'll do the same thing in email. For attendance and participation, basically we certify students whether as attending or not attending a course at the beginning of each semester. So as long as you're there at least once in the first 2 weeks and you start working on assignments in my math lab or my lab math, you'll be okay. Excuse me. That being said, that's a very low requirement. You'll notice if you look at the calendar that the chapter 1 and 2 assignments are due on February 2nd, and you should have an average of 80 or 70% or better. But for the best results in this course, I always tell students you want to have at least an 80% average on the homework and quizzes, especially the homework. And remember, if you have 80% on the homework overall, you're going to be able to replace your lowest test score with what you get on the final, assuming that's better. As far as late work's concerned, basically, I can't stress enough how important it is that you're getting homework and quizzes done on time. And that's not easy to do. It really takes a strong commitment. But that's a real key to success. But if you do get an assignment done late, it's just going to be 25% off on the problems that you didn't do on time, up until the test has been taken. So for example, after you take test 1, you can't go back and do assignments from chapter 1 and 2, which is covered on test 1. As far as taking a test late, if you see a potential problem, please contact me ahead of time. If you miss the test, and actually I need to change that. No, that's right. Because there's a deadline, and if you miss that deadline to go to the testing center and take your test, you should contact me right away if you have a good reason. Otherwise, that would be a 0, and you would definitely want to make sure you're dropping your lowest test score in that case. All right, the only other thing here we have is support contacts, so you might want to look these over. These are things that are available to you, things like reaching your success coach, and then institutional policies. You should go through these at least once, make sure you're familiar with them. These are things that are expected of students. And you know what, I do want to go back to our calendar, and you can see it's very clear each week what is going to be done. So notice we're covering sections 1.1 through 1.3 the first week. It's going to be kind of tough because we don't have class on Monday, so we'll have to figure out how we're going to manage that. Notice all these assignments are due on Sunday, January 26th. All right, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over in the syllabus. I will say that if you're a new student, you may want to watch my video on Brightspace and eCampus. eCampus is what we call it, and it's using the platform called Brightspace. It's just, I forget what they call that. It's the, I can't think of the name right now, but anyway, that's our course campus, and everything is through eCampus. Our homepage is on eCampus. So there's a video for that. But then the one that's really important, I would encourage everybody to check it over, and that's the video that goes over my lab math. It goes through all the details that you need to be familiar with, and even if you've used it before, there may be some things there that you're not aware of. So anyway, that's going to be it for now. I hope you have a great semester, and if you have any questions about the expectations for this class or anything that I missed in the syllabus, just let me know.